Before Chuklov, before Ark Royal, there was Weimar. For some reason, the good old folks at Wargaming have decided that now is the time for the prodigal son to return. That's right. Weimar is making its first appearance in the shop in some 2.5 years. So today, we take out this old overpowered boat, talk about its strengths in the current meta, and talk about whether it's worth it, because right now, it's 20% off. So, with all of that said, if you like videos like this, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and let's dive on in. Now, if you weren't around when Weimar first came out, you may be confused as to why Weimar is considered such a powerful ship, why it's held in such high regard. And, well, there's a couple of things to sort of explain it. And first, we got to talk about where it was originally sold and positioned, and that is Tier 6. That's right. Originally, this ship came out as a Tier 6 monster, and, well, when you have the damage of what is now a mines at Tier 6 with more maneuverability, you can see how just oppressive a ship this would be when going up against Tier 5s or Tier 6s. And it is still an incredibly strong ship. So strong, in fact, that when they decided to nerf this ship by moving it up a tier, they didn't change its stats. Instead, they just moved it up. They didn't give it a 4th mod slot because it was already strong enough. I think eventually down the line, they did give it a heal. Initially didn't get the heal. So Weimar has been one of those ships that you see out there and you're like, someone who's been around. And I will say, I find Weimar incredibly fun and strong because of this right here. Look at that damage we're doing to a broadside battleship. It is absolute fire. I absolutely love it. And I'll be honest, I like Weimar way more than I like mines. And I think that comes down to a couple of things. And if you're confused why I'm comparing them, it's because, well, they're pretty much the same ship, except they use a different hull. Mines uses a Hipper hull as its base. Weimar uses a York. And with the Weimar being smaller and shorter, it allows this ship to be a lot more maneuverable, a lot more dodgy, harder to hit, which is why I find myself preferring Weimar overall. Now, as far as our build goes with this ship, in our 3 mod slots, because once again, we don't have 4 mod slots on this thing, we're running aiming system mod 1, the prop mod, and then we are not running steering gears, or we're not running concealment mod, we are running steering gears, which is very different from what you will see out and about usually as far as the default what you run in that 3rd mod slot. But I think having the rudder shift allows you to play the ship at range and be a little bit squirrely if you lose a bit too much health. It still lets you get into the fight and bring the damage, and then still be able to maneuver out of the way and be able to do some pretty interesting maneuvers. Add that onto the fact that we are running Karl von Mueller as the commander with a full free-to-play build, by the way, and his unique legendary skill, Emergency Bell, which allows for even quicker acceleration and rudder shift time when your health gets below a certain mark, and you get an incredibly agile, or a relatively agile ship in a light cruiser form factor with a brawling hull, which can still get up close and do some significant damage, but then can still go down the line and, play at range. It is a fantastic package overall. And, now that it's available in the shop for 20% off for 14,000 doubloons, is it worth it? And I will say, I am someone who played a lot of Weimar in its day. It was my go-to credit maker because tier 6 was the credit grinding tier, and it was incredibly consistent. And as a content creator, my goal was to get every single ship. And this, in Weimar's mix of guns, maneuverability, torpedoes, make it, and I still think it is, one of the best cruisers in the game. In pretty much every single situation, you have the tools to be a thorn in the enemy sides, to do enough damage to put yourself at the top of a scoreboard, to play how you want to play. And if there was, one ship that I would recommend in the in the premium shop right now, I think it might be Weimar. Now, you get 90% of what Weimar is with Mines or Mines CE. But I still think, for me, Weimar holds a very special spot, especially now with tier 7 being the money-making tier, with it having those increased earnings. Weimar still performs, it still holds up, it still does an incredible amount of damage and an incredible amount of battle impact, which is why I absolutely love this thing. So with that said, let's get back into the game, because you saw we're playing this somewhat passively, just because we do want to stick around for a little bit. You saw we're up to 120,000 damage. You saw what we did to that in those opening salvos to the Missouri. We got some pretty decent AP hits on the Cleveland. We should, I guess, talk about the shells that Weimar has at its disposal. First off, those HE shells. It's a German cruiser, so guess what you get? Good old German quarter penetration on those shells, which means you are punching through a ton of armor. 150 millimeters at a quarter pen means you have a theoretical armor penetration of 37 millimeters, which is plenty enough to pen a lot of what's out there. Maybe not 40 millimeter deck armor, but that is still going to get you penetration damage with the HE on a ton of things. And even outside of that, you still have what is a fairly decent HE chance at 11%. So you're looking pretty good. But on top of that, you then also have the Rockstar German AP ammo. That AP doing 4,100 damage per shell. And you saw how much we were able to extract out of Missouri and a little bit out of Cleveland. So overall, an incredibly, incredibly strong and powerful ship. On top of that, you look at those consumables. You have German sonar as well. So, like I said, incredibly strong, incredibly powerful and potent little vessel for credit grinding at tier 7. Anyways, we've gone ahead and finally secured C in the match. Our team has taken B, and the enemy team is down to 3 ships, and we are twice as far ahead. But I wanted to show off literally my first game in Weimar in months, because I figured that's at least a good representation of what you sort of can expect in Weimar, just because it is a very, it performs just consistently. Anyway, Kansas pops up over here. We're going to see if we can get an angle on Kansas. We saw Anchorage pop up, and we know Anchorage is going to have that smoke screen, so I'm kind of trying to keep my eye forward in case he pops up again. But I want Kansas to get spotted here because we have a fairly good position that we should be able to engage Kansas from. His guns aren't looking at us, which, hey, I will absolutely take. We got at least one good salvo off. We just need our team to continue to spot. We'll go ahead and blind fire as we do pick up a perma spot here, which tells me that there is a certain destroyer in the area that we are going to need to deal with, as we do end up dropping spot from that destroyer, and it looks like he has decided to smoke up, which makes sense. We're going to go ahead, light up our sonar, and start to push in. With us not firing, so we don't have our smoke fire penalty going, we are now spotted, which tells us, well, destroyer is now out of his smoke. We do need to be prepared to dodge torpedoes. I want to be hesitant around coming around this corner in case Kansas is bringing his guns around to bear on us. I don't think he will be, just because of how many other targets there are in front of him that he has to worry about. But he ends up going down from flooding from our Sashio. So now we just kind of have to worry about our destroyer. And it turns out Akazuki is our mystery destroyer. His AP does end up taking out our front gun, and you're going to see we go broadside to try to deal with him quickly. And that is a bit of a mistake on our end. As you see, Akazuki AP absolutely devastating. We're able to kind of keep up with the damage. We're going to go nose in to prevent any more hard AP damage coming from him, which is going to allow us just to whittle him down as we lose that front gun again to that AP. He goes down, and that ends the game. But guys, that is a match today in Weimar. Like I said, I think it's probably one of the best ships in the shop that you can buy. An incredibly consistent performer, and one that I absolutely enjoy. But guys, if you like videos like this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. See ya.